You understand the concept of a competency based interview and you have prepared your stories, but still you fail. Do you know why? It is because even with the best preparation, you do not know how to properly present yourself during the interview. I'm preparing a series of videos on competency based interviews, and this is part 3. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2, I highly recommend you do. They cover understanding the core concepts and how to prepare strategically. I have shared the links in the description below. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use 7 specific aspects to confidently present your answers in the competency based interview and easily pass it. By the end of this video, you will understand how to quickly identify the competency behind any question, how to connect your story to that competency, how to show the value you bring to the organization, and how to present with confidence and your non-verbal communication. Now, let's dive in. Section 1, the competency behind the question. In some interviews, the panel members will tell you which competency they are looking for with the question. However, this is not always the case. When they do not tell you, you will need to figure out which competencies a question is designed to test. For example, if the interviewer asks, "Tell me about a time you faced conflict with a team," the real competencies they are testing may be conflict management, communication, or teamwork. If they ask, "Describe a difficult situation you handled under pressure," they might be testing your resilience, adaptability, or decision making skills. During the interview, train yourself to ask internally in your head, what competency are they trying to evaluate? This one shift changes your entire mindset. You stop reacting emotionally to the question and you start answering strategically. As I mentioned in a previous video, a single question can often test multiple competencies. Section 2, identifying the competency. So, how do you identify the competency quickly? Here is a practical shortcut. Listen carefully to the action words in the question. For example, if you hear words like solved, handled, resolved, they are usually testing problem solving. They are testing teamwork or communication. If you hear initiated, improved, changed, they are testing initiative or leadership. If you hear adapted, adjusted, or responded, they are likely testing your flexibility and adaptability. This becomes easier with practice, and once you identify the competency, you can immediately select the right story from your preparation. Section 3, link your story to the competency. This is a point where many candidates lose marks. They tell a story, but the interviewer cannot clearly see the competency being demonstrated. Remember this rule: the interviewer should never have to struggle to understand your strength. You must make it visible. For example, if the competency is leadership, your answer must clearly show how you guided people, influenced decisions, solved issues, or took responsibility. If the competency is communication, your answer should clearly demonstrate stakeholder coordination, negotiation, reporting, or conflict resolution. Do not assume the interviewer will figure it out. You need to show it clearly through the actions you describe. Section 4, present your star answer confidently. Now, let's focus on delivery. Even a strong story can fail if the presentation is weak. Here are some practical techniques for confidently delivering your answer using the STAR method. First, start calmly. Do not rush immediately into the answer. Take one short breath and then begin. For example, you could say, "Yes, I can share a situation that I faced in," and then you mention the year and continue. This small pause helps you organize your thoughts and makes you appear more confident. Second, be structured. Interviewers love clarity, so guide them through your answer. For example, use signposts like, "The situation was," "My responsibility was," "What I did was," and "as a result." This creates a clean structure in the listener's mind. Third, focus more on the action. Many candidates spend too much time explaining the background. The interviewer mainly wants to know what you did. The action section of your star answer should be the strongest and most detailed part. Fourth, use "I," not "we." This is one of the biggest mistakes candidates make. They say, "We decided," or "We solved," but the interviewers are assessing you, not the team. Even in a team situation, explain your specific contribution clearly. For example, I coordinated the communication between departments, or I proposed the revised approach. Finally, finish strongly, never end on a weak note. End with impact. For example, as a result, the project was completed on time, and the process we created later became part of the standard operational workflow. That sounds professional, mature, and valuable. Section 5, optimizing the listener's span. A key part of a strong delivery is known when to stop. Keep your answers concise. For most questions, you should aim for your answer to be between 2 to 3 minutes long, because after the first 2 minutes, the listeners lose their attention. Use the STAR method, but short enough to hold the interviewer's attention and respect their time. Practice aiming your answers so that you do not go too long and also not too short. Section 6, how to handle nervousness. Let's be realistic. Almost everyone gets nervous during interviews. Confidence does not mean having zero nervousness, it means managing yourself despite the nervousness. Here are some practical techniques. First, breathe slowly before answering. A short, deliberate pause is powerful. It helps slow your thoughts and your heart rate. Second, don't fear silence. If you need a few seconds to think, that is completely fine. You can say something like, "That's a very interesting question. Let me think of the best example." This sounds calm and professional. Third, slow down your speech. Nervous candidates tend to speak too fast. When you slow down slightly, you sound more confident. Your thinking becomes clearer and your answers become more structured. And finally, maintain a professional energy. You do not want to sound flat or overexcited. Aim for a calm, engaged, and professional tone. Section 7, nonverbal communication. Your presentation is also visual, especially now with so many online interviews. Simple adjustment to your nonverbal communication can make a huge difference. First, the basics. Be on time. Be sensitive to the interviewer managing the time and don't talk over them. And remember to smile naturally when appropriate. It builds rapport. Even in remote interviews, though on camera, when you smile, it makes a difference. Physically, sit upright with your shoulders relaxed. This projects confidence. Maintain eye contact and use natural hand gestures. When you are sitting straight, your voice also changes. For virtual interviews, there are a few extra things to check. Look at the camera while speaking, not just at the screen, to create this creates a strong connection. Also, double check your internet connection, lighting, background, and microphone before the interview begins. Good preparation reduces stress significantly. Competency based interviews are not only testing your experience, they are testing your ability to communicate your value clearly and professionally. In this three-part series, we discussed in part one, understanding the concept of competency based interviews. In part two, how to prepare strategically using competencies and the STAR method. And in this video, part three, how to present confidently and communicate your value effectively. If you combine these three areas, understanding, preparation, and presentation, your interview performance will improve dramatically. Not because you memorized answers, but because you learned how to think and respond strategically. And that is what brings you the result. If this series helped you, please follow Career Talks Hub for more practical guidance on careers, interviews, humanitarian work, and professional growth. And remember, your experience has a value. You simply need to present it clearly and confidently.